So welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee meeting for October 24th, 2018. We'll start following our standard agenda, which is to ask to see if there's any announcements that anybody has to share. Okay, if there aren't any announcements, then I'm going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which I just need to find because something popped up over my open windows. Okay, so first thing on the agenda is number 23795, which is buffer, fix crash for invalid index types. Just let me promote Rich here. So I think, if I remember, I read it just a few minutes ago that it was Anna who added it to the agenda. Let's see if that's right.
I think Anna removed it from the agenda.
Okay.
Afterwards.
Okay. Because yep, it was removed 6 hours ago. Okay, so I guess in that case, we'll continue to discuss in GitHub, and Dennis is not here anyway. So move on to the next issues. I guess we don't have any other standard issues, so we'll move on to the tracking issue for updating TC on board meetings. We don't have Miles, so I think we're going to skip that unless he shows up a little bit later. And then it's on to strategic initiatives. So let's open that up. Okay. So we don't have Miles. NAPI, just still focused on getting ready for, there's a workshop at NodeConf EU, as well as working on improving the test suite. OpenSSL, we don't have Rod, we don't have Anna, don't have Joy. I'm just going down the list. Don't have James, Jeremiah. So V8 currency is next on the list. Michael, do you want to say a few words on that? I guess there's an update in the issue if Michael can't speak, right? So basically he's working on V8.7.1 for master. Node test pull request is green, but node test V8 Linux fails on IBM platforms because there's a missing dependency, which is being worked. Okay. Basic hooks and open web standards. So I think that's it for the review of the strategic initiatives. And I guess that leaves us at the end of the agenda. So it was a very quick one today. Are there any other things people
What about the issue Sakti added?
Okay.
It's in the chat and it's in the issue tracker.
Okay, let me find that. It's not just on in the minutes that I was looking at. So let me find that guy and I'll add it to the list here. Hold on. Just adding it into the notes. Trying to. Okay, let's open this up.
Somebody said if you're taking it up now.
Okay, so do you want to take us through that one?
Sure. Issue number 23433. It's basically about the inconsistency with if file system modules read file and write file methods. These two methods accept file name as a parameter and they read the entire file. And if the file actually exists, write file will overwrite the file basically. till this point, the behavior is consistent, but these two functions also accept file descriptors as inputs. So when we pass a file descriptor to read file, it always reads from the current position of the file descriptor. Let's say I have opened a file and I have read 6 characters or 10 characters from the file descriptor. And if I do read file now, it actually reads from the current position, not from the beginning of the file. So this actually, I would say it doesn't align with the documented behavior. The write file, I always write from the beginning of the file. It doesn't truncate the file. So if the file already has 10 characters and if I'm writing 5 characters with the write file, it starts from the position 0 and it writes the first 5 characters and rest of the characters will still be there in the file. So the intention is to come up with a conclusion, like how read file and write file should behave when it comes to file descriptors. This has been discussed multiple times in the past. So bringing it up again now, the attention of TSC. If you look at 23433, multiple options are listed there. And we just have to pick the right one.
You're saying it's inconsistent with the documentation?
The documented behavior is entirely different from actually how it works. And the other problem is read file and write file, they both behave differently. Read file always reads from the current position, write file always writes from the beginning of the file.
In the discussions, did anybody ever look at what sort of equivalent, if there are, in Unix or Windows do?
Yes.
I looked at implementations from other languages. No other language basically has anything similar to this, read file or write file. Python has different functions to deal with file descriptors, but they deal only with file descriptors. So we don't have anything to compare against.
I definitely agree with Rich's comment that updating the documentation to document the way it works is a good first step.
I already have a PR to document the current behavior.
Okay.
Different collaborators believe these functions should behave differently. For example, there are a few of us who believe that the current behavior should be left as it is. And there are different issues in our Node.js repository, which says otherwise. Excuse me.
So I guess is it that we're deadlocked in the issue and we need a vote, or is this for awareness to people? And I guess it's sort of what do we think the next step is on this issue?
I think we need people to actually engage and participate in it. I think it's been on the agenda twice now, and there's a TSC app mention, but there's very little activity in there. It's a pretty simple issue. It has a long history, unfortunately, and I don't see, somewhere there was a list of like previous issues where this has been discussed. And there were like 4 or 5 of them. I don't see them in this particular issue though. But anyway, long history, but it's actually a really simple issue. And yeah, and I think I guess some evidence of collaborator impasse would be. Oh, there's the previous. I see it now in the bottom of the issue. It's there. Yeah. So some indication that collaborators are not going to come to consensus, which I think is pretty obvious once you read the issues. And then TSC engagement. I do think that TSC might not have been tagged when this issue was open and then added with an edit, and that may have that won't notify people. If that's the case, that won't notify people, and that might be part of the issue why this has not gotten the engagement that it might otherwise have gotten. I'm not 100% sure about that. Anyway, I'll stop talking now because I'm not saying anything more than I could have said this in one sentence. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess so. In terms of our discussion today, does anybody else have any thoughts?
I will write down my opinion. My opinion is the GitHub.
Okay, so I guess if nobody else has anything they want to discuss right now, it sounds like the request is for all of the members to get involved, comment in the issue itself, and then we'll leave it on the agenda and see if we can get closer to conclusion next time.
Awesome, thanks.
Okay. Any other items on the agenda that were added that I don't have in the minutes yet? Then any other business that people want to add on to the agenda before we end for today? I'm just going to type while you think about that. Asking in the chat to see if there's any questions. Wait around 30 seconds or so. I don't see any, so thank you everybody for attending, and we will talk to everybody next time. I'm going to stop the stream.